Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, this handsome guy is a model fitness instructor, Jacob. We met on Tuesday when we've been filming some of the segments with our mutual friend now, Ken from California.
Yeah.
How was your experience on Tuesday? What did you expect? Was it fun?
So expectation, that's a good question. I didn't know what I was walking into, you know. My partner, my roommate and best friend, Ken Gray, literally messaged me and was like, hey, there's a big project going on. You're gonna
He was your roommate?
Yeah, he's also my roommate. Yeah, him and Corey Hayes are both my roommates and partners. We live in Palm Springs, and all we do is work. You know, that's it. We just work. But
cool.
I was in Montana actually doing a radio show for Veterans Fitness. Cool. And Ken called me, said that there was a big project going on in New York City with the amazing Alexander Gruman, and that I was going to be shot at YouTube, and there was going to be something with Number 3 Magazine and Runway New York, and that I just needed to get to New York. You know, and
so Ken has that much power over you. Like he tells you something will be cool. You have full trust in him.
He's gonna hate this. Ken doesn't have power over me. No one has power
over you, but you influence
indefinitely. If Ken asks me to jump, I ask how high. You know, It's not a question of, you know, oh, why am I jumping? Where am I going? If Ken says come to New York, I go, okay, I'm gonna do whatever I can to get there.
Where that comes from? Like, why do you have that such a confidence in him?
Well, one, I believe I guess stupidly have that confidence in most people. You know, I think you're either, you know, you're a glass half full or a glass half empty. So my opinion, if I believe people are good. So if someone says
you're not pale, like in my world, I don't get excited, I don't get sad. It's just all water.
I can definitely say I'm on the upper side of that happiness. You know, I was 250 pounds before I was 5 foot.
Oh, shit.
I was legally classified as special education. Ended up going to FAU and becoming a personal trainer. So I've seen a lot of dark days. My mom was an ex-heroin addict. I've seen a lot of dark things. And now that I'm sitting in a chair at YouTube with Alexander Gruman, what's the point not to smile? So when I met Ken, it was automatically an immediate connection. And I trusted him. I believed in his work ethic. I believed in his connections, but also in his creativity. So it was immediate spark. I'm a very organized, very action, very money-making individual.
I saw you helped me tremendously with building sets and the removing sets and the moving everything. We probably in 6 hours of production we did 4 or 5 sets. We did one set in the over there. We did another like a club setting over here.
That club one was all me too. That was a hard one.
We did the runway here, and we did also the stage at the diner set for the like office. So
it was like a bunch of chickens running around with heads cut off in a very organized way. It was great.
Okay, so you like the space. It's fun.
Oh yeah, but so as far as the expectation was, you know, Ken said, come to New York, big project. I jumped. You know, and that's something I, want to say to all of you is you got to believe in yourself enough to take those risks or you're never going to get anything. So I get to YouTube, I meet you, and it was just work. It was setting, like you said, it's setting up the lighting, setting up the stands. I was supposed to just be a model. And
you did. You roll the cables. You carry stuff.
Thank you.
You can see like most of the creators like me. We are. Sometimes you saw me filming myself, like setting up the camera like today. And if you would not come, I would do everything on my own.
Thank you.
So I'm grateful for your help. But
I think you got to know everything, especially if you want to be influential in this industry. So. I mean, when I first got here, that's what I did. I wanted to model, I wanted to act, but I also was fine with getting my hands dirty and running some cables and learning behind the camera, and it was a great experience.
Let me get to my second question. Obviously, you're a model, but you get there at some point because of your fitness experience. Yeah. You're quite fit. You have a great body, so probably the girls like the way it looks, and you happy with the way you feel. Tell us a little bit about your fitness experience.
Well, as I had previously said, I was 250 pounds before I was 5 foot. I was very obese. I also had an underbite, so I was like this. My bottom jaw was above my top jaw.
Wow.
I had a lisp. I was also ADHD, still ADHD. So imagine this fat, lispy, super hyper kid that was still just a smiley, but I wasn't the coolest. So I was picked on a lot. I was very depressed. I ended up cutting myself before I was even in the 6th grade.
Wow.
I got very, very depressed, very suicidal, and thank the universe, thank God, and all the friends that were around me to pull me out of that. I ended up hitting puberty. Thank the Lord. I started getting on the track team. I started to lose the weight and find a new part of myself. Anyone out there that has weight that you have as an issue, I know what it feels like to feel trapped in your body. I have shivers right now thinking about it, because it's scary when you feel like there's nothing you can do to get away from who you are. You're a fat guy, you're a fat girl, and that's it. And I worked my butt off, and I was able to get away from that.
But how do you process from being comfortable eating everything on the couch to starting taking those steps? Once you start taking them, it's kind of easier rolling and stay fit. But or on one side, I say a lot of people try the first steps, and after a week or two, like a month, they fell off. How do you stay on track?
For me, it was actually very funny. As
you watch motivational videos,
tons, and as the big kid that I was, I literally just started using 8. I'll never forget this. My grandma had 8-pound dumbbells, and I just come home from school and I just started curling. That's the first exercise I ever did in my life, and then I started to learn how to do push-ups. And for me, it became a sense of progress, and I believe that progress is the key to happiness. Progress in your finances, progress in your fitness, progress in your family, being a better investor, but also being a better father. I think that as you progress in every area of your life, you find happiness in more areas. So even as a young man, I got that itch that I realized I was progressing, so I kept wanting to progress. But it was a combination of I had enough of being. I had enough of hating myself. I had enough of waking up not happy who was in the mirror. I had enough of being out of breath tying my shoes. So I started doing these curls in my room in my grandmother's house. And from 6th grade to 8th grade, I ended up losing almost 135 pounds. And going into freshman year of high school, I was 130 pounds. And I was able to get on the wrestling team, and I got braces. Thank God, it's saved my smile, and it really transformed me. So I guess what I would say is you have to have something that pulls you. You have to have something bigger than yourself.
Like you're doing a tour now,
yeah.
Right?
Oh, I love it.
Tell us a little bit. What's this about?
A lot of confusion comes around when I say the word tour, because I'm not an artist. I don't know how to play anything really except the drums, and that's just because I beat on them. But I go on tour regularly about twice a year to every major city and then most cities in between for everything from, photo shoots for my modeling career to acting auditions. But also I'm an agent, so I meet with photographers, I meet with casting directors to pitch my models and the people that I believe in. Along with that, I'm a CEO of Greatness.
Do you think it's necessary personal meetings? Today's the Instagram, the email, and all that communication not sufficient. You really?
I think it's completely efficient. I could run a business from my couch, but what's the fun in that? If I have an excuse to be in Bora Bora or Italy or LA to meet with a photographer, I'm going to take that excuse. I'm only 23. I got nothing tying me down. So when I have something that doesn't so much require personal.
When you're 23, don't you want to be a lawyer, a doctor? When you don't
God,
you want to go
I have always been very different. As a fat kid with ADHD, being dyslexic with a lisp, I was different. And as I came out of that, I was still different. I'm still very geeky. I'm still very clumsy, but I embrace myself fully. So what the tour is,
to still be a lawyer, a doctor, have some kind of.
I would say more so conformity is. I never wanted to fall in line with anything. I'm not a model. I'm an entrepreneur.
Do you think the lawyers and doctors are confine themselves? It's just once you have some kind of license, and that's a residual income that comes eventually consistently. So, as a model, you have to prove yourself every day.
Yes.
If tomorrow you don't get the gig, you don't eat, so you kill what you eat, and there is no limit of how many new ones can come in a space. Once you have one of those licenses as a CPA or a lawyer, you have kind of ability to
some consistency
earn.
and comfortability. What you said I loved, which was every day I have to compete indefinitely, and that's what makes me so hungry. As a wrestler, I got that itch. Was, no offense to anybody, I was a football player, track star,
No,
wrestler.
I'm not
but
saying the lawyers or doctors do not compete every day.
No.
They compete to save lives. They
Oh,
compete
God, yes.
to,
And I have
to
massive
put someone
respect for
away
doctors. I wanted to be a brain surgeon.
From the death sentence. So
Yeah.
those guys every day, make a difference. So it's not like once they get their license
Yeah.
that the life is over and
No.
they come feel they've coughed.
For me, it was it comes down to really sports for me was as a wrestler and as a football player, I felt more connected to being a wrestler because if I walked off the mat and I lost, nobody else to blame. And even as a surgeon, you have that same kind of aspect where if someone dies on your table, you know that you could have done something, but you have 100 nurses around you and you have different algorithms where as an entrepreneur, as a model, and, as a person that I am, if I don't wake up at 6 a.m. and I miss a phone call, my fault. If I'm not here with you, my fault. I don't have a secretary I get to yell at. I don't have a boss I get to yell at. There's no one whose responsibility of my life but
You
mine.
brought sports. You do a lot of sports. In sports analogies, you have ability to play a game.
Yeah.
And if you lose, you lose. You have another game. So it's just a game. It's a sport. So there is no real issue.
Seriousness,
It's serious. People take it very close to their
Yeah.
heart. I seen people, making decisions based on their favorite team
Yeah.
win or lose.
I've seen some crazy stuff on Bulls
depressed.
games.
But in real life, if you win or lose, it's we're talking about wasting life or money or like having babies or not having babies. Those are decisions much more
Very serious.
have substance than a sport. How do you take the sport and take it to real life? What's the look?
well,
You're
that-
doing fitness, right?
Yeah.
How you convert that competitiveness and being in the game of sports and apply it to the human real life?
Human relationships. That's an amazing question, and I think it really stems down to the principle of progress. And this isn't even me speaking. This is Tony Robbins. This is Jim Rohn
Sports
and others.
helps at any.
I think that
I don't know.
as a young man, being the background that I had and seeing progress firsthand, seeing the weight come off and seeing myself become better, made me never want to be stagnant. And as an entrepreneur, that's impossible. As a doctor and as a lawyer, which I have massive respect for, I wanted to be a brain surgeon. I just didn't want to do the tons of schooling. I have massive respect for them, but you can, if you wanted to, flatline. You can just walk into work and do nothing, and you can walk into work and do nothing. As an entrepreneur, until my company,
Doctors still entrepreneurs. They still.
of course,
look
and
for
those are the
design
ones
for
that
their
I'm
business.
more so talking about. Is the one that works for a hospital can slide by for a day or two or a week or two and just say hi to their clients. Same thing with personal trainers. You can walk in, do a session, walk out. Whereas an entrepreneur and as a model and everything that I do, I wake up every morning as the way I hope you do, which is fire. I know that I have something I want to accomplish. Where
Do you think that will one day burn down, and you need to
I think as long as I have people in my life like you, people that are, and I mean that, people that are motivated themselves, but also people that are loving and people that are caring, I don't think I'll lose that fire. I think that it'll be refined one day, yes. I'm only 23. I know I'm very energetic. I know that I don't say everything perfectly, and I'm not perfect at all.
I'm not questioning it. I'm just
But
curious.
I think that as I grow older, the fire will be just as intense, but it'll be more refined. It'll be more contained, as in I'll be able. I'm not going to be so hyper when I'm at a Hollywood meeting. I'll spill coffee on myself.
Let's talk about your bargaining and negotiation strategies. As a model, you have to look for the gigs, for the jobs,
Right.
And you mentioned that you negotiate on behalf of other
Yeah.
models. What's your strategy? How do you do that?
Sincerity. Complete sincerity. Jim Rohn says it best, and he says, sincerity is the most beautiful language, and I agree with that. Is when I sit down with a client for personal training or a casting director or a photographer who wants to pay $500 an hour for 5 hours, I'm sincere with them. I allow them to understand that
But a lot of people want your service and they want it free.
Yeah.
Like, how do you?
Oh well, free's not my word, but it's sincerity. Is I express to them that no one will work harder than me at the job that you're projecting. You want me to, do Motivation Monday or a fitness channel? No one's going to do that better than me, and not because of my intelligence, but because of my work ethic. And I project that to the models that I work with and photographers. Is the sincerity that I bring is real. Is we will be on time. There will be shredded abs, but there will also be genuineness. I don't work with anyone, and this is a concept that I adapted very young. I still don't have a private jet yet, but any person that I surround myself with, I want to have on my private jet one day. So the models that I work with, I want them to be as real as me. Is when I send them to a photographer in Italy, that photographer is going to be like, wow, this guy's nice. He smiles. He's very polite. He's not a self-centered, braggadocious asshole model. He is really what Jacob interpreted him as, and that's what I try to do. Be sincere.
Let's take back the question on the modeling. Male model is quite different from being a female model. Yours just need to be pretty.
I deal with both a lot. So,
but how do you get gigs as a male model? What's the key in this field?
I think it's energy. Honestly, I think that the big difference between female modeling and male modeling is female modeling. I've dabbled in both and been an agent for both. Is female modeling is a lot more just look. You have to have a specific look for a specific job, et cetera, et cetera. I think that male modeling has a lot more to do with personality. I think that you have to be able to connect with your photographer, be able to bring energy to the images, be able to dance with your set, be able to know your lighting. I think that no offense to any female model out there, but I think that photographers and videographers and casting directors look for males with more collective intelligence on set. Like for example, you would if I came here and just sat.
She wasn't just pretty. She gets.
Oh my God! Yes.
She wins, but for you have to keep yourself in fit and.
The keeping in shape is the biggest thing for male models, without a doubt. Is in my opinion, no male model right now should not have a six-pack. You're too competitive out there. Unless you're going for a specific job that does not require abs, then sure. But any male model, whether you're 6'5" or 5'10", you need to have ab structure, because if you don't, you're going to audition, they're going to look at you, and then they're going to go on Instagram and find somebody twice as shredded. But so with women, it's a little bit different because it's a specific look, and for men, I think it's bringing more to the table than just your manliness. I think that men, like I said, a casting director can go on Instagram and find a guy. But if you're in the casting and you're energetic and you're passionate and you're sincere, and I have shivers talking about it. When you're able to bring that to someone, even if it's an email or a Skype, then they're going to be able to go, listen, I don't even care if, Bob Joe has better abs or, Jack is taller. I want Jacob because he's real. He can capture real emotion. And I think in photography, videography, and business, emotion is everything. I think being able to capture emotion and be able to help with that.
You have lots of energy. You have ideas. Question. I'm a YouTuber, as you know. So if, let's say, we do a podcast or a live production, let's say twice a week or in the morning, let's say motivational, and people would know, let's say, from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8:30, Jacob will help you guys to get up.
I'm screaming and shouting. Yeah.
Let's get things done, and you can have a classroom all over the world, of
course,
or during those time. And
that's the goal.
And you can, off your phone, you can motivate people and show them what to do. As long as the class. First, you can maybe start with me, maybe as your student, and maybe some or more folks will follow, and you can have a consistent kind of group of people who will tune in every week or every couple of days for your class.
Well, that's the
eventually you can charge for those classes. And do you think that's a feasible model for you? You have an energy, you have a knowledge, you have a passion.
Oh my God, I'm on fire. But the end goal is exactly what you said. So the end goal for my health.
I'm sure it will be cool, fun YouTube channel.
Oh God,
people will subscribe so they can get notifications.
You guys better be subscribing to this. But the end goal is for my company. So my company is called Greatness for Many. So Greatness for Many, number 4, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Is we want to be able to help every person understand their own greatness, and in doing so, we'll find ours in return. So in regards to fitness and in regards to the podcast and what you said is, if I can do a podcast every morning and a Motivation Monday post on Instagram every Monday, and then I can do a shout out Saturday every Saturday and give out some free supplements. Those are all.
What's the best way to reach you? Like, is there like Instagram or
My
Facebook?
Instagram is Jacob Alexander Tackett. Facebook is Jacob Alexander Tackett. Our company Instagram is Greatness number 4 Many. And then our women's motivation page is GFM Anxiety Fitness. And that's for all the women out there who have struggles with, gym anxiety and etc.
Guys, if you would like us to bring Jacob back in the channel, please comment and let us know, write to us, and we'll have him back.
Looking forward to it. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it. Have a good one.
Let me shut the...
Love that.